Okay. Step 12, the final step in the 12-step process. And this is where, again, you probably will have, if you're like me, you probably will have been doing step 12 all along the way from the beginning. As you began to live by different values, to accept help from other people, you started looking for ways that you could help others. I think it's instinctual for us when we are being helped to want to then pass that on and help other people, and to tell other people about the help that we've gotten. Sometimes we're our most robust and zealous about doing that at the beginning of our recovery process. So step 12 is, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics, to addicts, to people who were traumatized through physical abuse, sexual abuse. You put into their whatever recovery that you're recovering from, and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. So at this point, it's when you give your testimony to other people. And like I said, chances are when you were first in recovery, you wanted to go out and tell other people, hey, look, I used to be this person who would go to a party at your house, steal your jewelry out of your bedroom jewelry box, and then later when you called around and said, hey, do I know anything about it? I would be like, no, I don't know anything about that, but I'll come over and help you look for it, knowing damn well that I was the one who stole it. That's the kind of person that I was before, but the kind of person that I am now is, then I can say, but I've gotten into recovery, I'm living by different values, I'm making amends, I've changed, I'm a different person, and I want to tell you about this. And so that's where you get the chance to do that. By the time you're completing to the 12th step, it's reminding us that, hey, the way that we continue to keep on living a life of recovery is by practicing that recovery and being an example to other people, by telling our story, by helping other people walk through the steps and teach them how we did it, and how I teach it is different than how someone else teaches it. So again, I do it with a lot of visual aids because that's who I am. I'm an artist, and not only a visual artist, but recovery is my art. And so that's how I express myself. And someone else is going to do it in a different way. Maybe someone else writes songs about it, writes songs about recovery and the steps and what they got from it. Someone else sponsors a lot of people. I also worked in recovery. I've worked in recovery helping people through addiction and also trauma of various kinds that have led them to becoming harmful to other people or harmful to themselves, and to help them to see that they don't have to continue in that lifestyle and making those kinds of choices, that it is a choice. They could choose not to do that, but they have to be willing to make some core changes in the values and the way that they live their life in order to change their behavior. So sometimes spiritual awakenings actually wake me up. That some of the spiritual awakenings that I've had as a result of doing this were when I'm relaxed, my mind is open, I'm in a sound sleep, and all of a sudden a vision of something, a message of some sort comes to me. And so I always keep paper and pen in my dresser or on my dresser, so that if I should happen to wake up, that I can write that down and then go back to sleep. And it also helps me with sleeping, is that sometimes when that happens, if I don't write it down, my mind just keeps running over and over and over it, and I can't let it go, and I can't go back to sleep. So it allows me to write it down and say, okay, it's there when I wake up. I can go back to sleep when I wake up in the morning. I'll look at it and go, oh yeah, I wanted to talk to somebody about that, or I wanted to make a poster that was on that, or I wanted to make a change in my life because of having an understanding that just came to me. I wasn't working at trying to make it happen. It just happened. So to help explain spiritual awakenings, I also think of spiritual awakenings as that life is a puzzle, moments are the pieces, the purpose is putting them together. And so in spiritual awakening, sometimes while I'm fulfilling my purpose and putting those pieces together, I'm doing the work that causes me to have an awakening and go, oh, I get something now. I've heard this concept, but right now I'm living an experience that as I'm putting this all together, that I'm understanding something about being honest in a different way, and it's going to help me to become even more honest, and I can go back and clear up anything from the past in which maybe I wasn't being as honest with myself or others as I could have been. So respectful, responsible, all of those things. I've grown over the years in all of those kinds of spiritual principles by having spiritual awakenings where I come to understand them deeper, just as I work on trying to understand God, my higher power, in a deeper way and have a closer relationship with God. I have also worked on my values, my spiritual values or spiritual principles that guide my life. And I think it's very important to have a purpose. And in my case, my purpose is to be of service to other people and be an example in my life of someone who lives a life of being of service and lives a life of values, and that when I'm faced with negative situations, and that is the energy that's being projected at me by those around me, that I can absorb the energy just as energy and return to those who are around me loving, kindness, caring, respect, even though there's a part of me that might say they don't deserve that with the way that they're behaving. They deserve me to just kind of rampage through here like a tornado and just tear things up. But it's like, you know what? And then I'm taking negativity and putting back out more negativity. It would really actually serve my purpose in life if I can take in that negativity and shift it into something, and that other people would then look at that as leadership and an example, allow me to be a role model and join me. And next thing you know, I've got a movement of people who are going, oh yeah, it would be better for us to handle this in the way that John is showing us than for us to continue doing what we're doing. So I'm going to shift, and bit by bit, as 2 or 3 people make that shift, more and more people around in that situation are making the shift, and the next thing you know, we're all working together as a team to do something that's good instead of continuing to cause damage. So that's what I see as my purpose, and your purpose doesn't have to be my purpose. Your purpose is whatever it is that you're supposed to do in your life and with your life. So, but this is what has allowed me to go out and tell my story and be this example in the world and be this agent for change from negative to positive things. So that's the end of the 12 steps.